Okay, so for my research project, I chose overconsumption and waste. And for my preface, I just thought the reader should understand how normalized and how often we see overconsumption and waste, and how it's become a part of our daily lives and affecting the environment and even our personal habits. And according to Merriam-Webster, overconsumption is an excessive consumption of goods and services beyond what is necessary, and this often leads to waste and harms the environment. And I think this topic is important because it examines and explains these issues to better understand their causes, impacts, and solutions. And I chose this topic because I've always been concerned about environmental issues, and I've noticed how people glorify and participate in excessive consumption without thinking about the consequences. And I also wanted to explore this topic further to better understand why this happens and how greatly it affects the planet. And before beginning this project, I had a general understanding of overconsumption and how it contributes to pollution. And I've heard about it on the news and online. However, I wanted to learn about this topic and specifically research the potential solutions. And my research questions were what's the human nature behind overconsumption, and what are the societal impacts of overconsumption. And I found my information mostly on governmental and educational websites. And throughout this project, I learned the large scale and complexity of overconsumption, and how I even contribute to the issue, and how even small things that I do on the daily can contribute to waste and overconsumption. And then this project has made a difference to me by further explaining to me the importance of controlling waste and how to help the environment instead of harming it. So for my traditional essay, I'm basically just explaining how overconsumption and waste are one of the most important issues globally at the moment, and how overconsumption occurs when people use resources at the rate faster than they could be replenished. And the rise of overconsumption began in the late 19th century, early 20th century, during industrialization. That created factories that made goods cheaper and more widely available. So now the trends grew stronger of having the latest trends and having the newest technology or a new piece of clothing. And then these trends carried on into the 21st century. Modern industries such as fast fashion have expanded these ideas even more. And people can reduce overconsumption by practicing mindful consumption. For example, you can buying less, reusing items, and repairing instead of discarding. And also communities and the government have also created programs that help support controlling overconsumption. And then while overconsumption is a global problem, the solution can begin individually. You can just start by asking yourself, is what I'm buying truly necessary, or will it just cause waste earlier or later on? And then for my journalism artifact, I made a newspaper basically explaining overconsumption and how, I guess, the rise to overconsumption and how it became such a large issue in modern times, and also ways that we can control it. And then my visual artifact, I chose an advertisement, basically just advertising using reusable products and getting rid of plastic, basically. And then my informational artifact, I chose an informational brochure, basically explaining overconsumption again and how to reduce your overconsumption. And then I have a few quotes from Winston Churchill and also Gandhi. And then my scripted dialogue, I wrote about two roommates. One is Zachary, who likes to follow the latest trends and likes to order a lot of stuff online, and then his roommate Sophia is basically just educating him on why this is bad and why he's causing waste in the environment. And then my creative writing, I wrote a poem about a landfill, basically using imagery to describe how terrible landfills can be and how they're not good for the environment. And then my artifact choice, I wrote a letter to my future grandchildren, basically warning them about the rise of overconsumption and how I think they should be more careful about what they're buying and how they're discarding it. And then my final one was my artifact choice. I chose a visual with words about the state of New York banning plastic bags March 1st of 2020. And it's basically just a sticker saying no to plastic bags. And then that is it.